Oh. Okay. Hello, everybody. This is MoveEasy Yoga with Via. Today is January 24th, 2023. We're going to start in the ordinary fashion, lying on the floor, supine with your legs up on a chair or a sofa. Try to have your pelvis in neutral, not tilted or tucked. And that may require shifting your hips a little away from the chair. We're gonna stay here. This is the start of the class, gathering yourself into your yoga practice. And so we'll be here for 7 minutes.
Are you gonna do yoga with me? Oh, yay! Yay! We just started.
And I'm going to mute everybody. Just breathe and pay attention to your breath and your thoughts, but don't become attached to them. Let them float by. Stay where you are. Move your head from side to side. And while you are doing that, you can put your tongue in the roof of your mouth. About 6 sets, side to side. And when you're finished, get ready for static rest.
Static
Whoops, not static rest. Get ready. Look at my list. Get ready for vagus nerve reset. Here we're going to move your nervous system from fight and flight to relax, restore, and heal just by moving our eyeballs. So with nothing else moving, your head is looking towards the ceiling. Shift your eyeballs to the right and wait for a sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. If you're new at this, it may take a while, a little bit of practice and repetition to achieve a yawn. Come back to center. Shift your eyeballs back to center. Shift your eyeballs to the left. And wait for a sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. And come back, bring your eyeballs back to center, and do this 2 more times without any cues from me, just on your own. 2 more sets, right, left. Take your time. I'm going to use, Kathy's going to tell me when she's done. I'm going to use her as a marker, but take your time. You can take more time than Kathy if you want. Okay, finish up here. Vagus nerve reset. And the next thing we do is head ramping, but I think I'm going to, let's come up to seated. We're going to skip hypopressives for the minute, maybe come back, but come up to a floor seated position. It occurs to me, I want to talk to you about head ramping because of what Kathleen just said. Kathleen said she has a physical therapist that says head ramping can cause compression fractures. So I want you to know about this. I'm going to do some more research on it and see what other people are saying, other movement coaches are saying. And but it occurs to me that we can head ramp from a seated position. It will not put quite as much pressure on the neck. So let's do a seated head ramping position. You're sitting with your, in some floor seated position in good posture. And then you actually press back again, but now you're not pressing back into the floor, so you don't have resistance from the floor. You're just pressing back. The chin drops. You hold. And then you can release. So press back. As if you were lying on the floor, pressing back into the floor. Hold. And then release. And do that 4 more times. Unless you're still worried about compression fractures. And then you can just press your tongue into the roof of your mouth. You could press your tongue and maybe drop your chin, but not press back. And when we're finished, I'm going to tell you a little bit about compression fractures, which I have experienced. So finish up, and I'm just going to say quickly that you won't have to worry about compression fractures probably unless you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, because a compression fracture happens when you load to a certain degree beyond healthy, I suppose, degree when you load your vertebra. And I suffered 2 compression fractures in my thoracic spine, so from the neck to the waist to the lumbar. Very, very painful. And I suffered them when I was pulling suitcases. That's where what I think happened, and carrying a backpack, actually. So I think what Kathleen's physical therapist was telling her is that the pressure that when you press back, especially maybe into a floor where you're actually being resisted, that's the load. The floor meeting the pressure could create a cervical vertebra compression fracture. What else do I want to say to you? I'm thinking that so far in this class, there has not been a compression fracture. So it's not happened here. However, I do want you to be aware of it. I am going to research more about whether a head ramping movement could achieve, could compress and fracture the vertebra. And I'll let you know. What else was I going to say about that? So, but I do think sitting up and doing the head ramping is not as much of a load, is not as much of an overload on the neck. So that's one way to lighten the load and still create some. We're also putting the neck in traction and creating some strength in the muscles. So there's some good things that are happening in a head ramp. But I'm going to check out more anything else that might, if I'm putting you at risk, I'll let you know. I'll at least let you know, or I'll pull back on that movement. Let's start with regular standard floor seated triplet side bending. I'm going to put this down here. Add a spotlight. Side bending, take your hand out along the side of the mat and then up and over. And I'm going to time for 20 seconds. Hold on, let me find it. Maybe I have to create it. "40 seconds, I mean. So up and over, this is a C. You should feel a big stretch along the one side of the body and a crunch along the other. Your elbows up toward the ceiling. And now you're going to pull your elbow down in front of you and add a stretch for the armpit and the latissimus dorsi, which is a muscle that runs along the outside edge of the back. While you're here, if you want, you can move your head side to side, cervical side bend, and then come on back. Elbow first, then torso. Other side. Left arm along the mat, right arm up and over. 40 seconds. Our body needs side bending, and it doesn't get it much, so we have to gift it to it. Go ahead and bring your elbow forward. Adding this, so you're still side bending, but adding this stretch in the armpit. And come on up, elbow first, and then torso. Now we're going to do a spine twist. I'm going to come back here a little bit. Spine twist from a floor-seated position, the floor-seated position of your choice. Let me see something. There, I turned the volume up. Put your left hand on your right knee, take your right arm behind you, spine twist to the right, and stay there. I'm not staying there, but stay there. And while you're here, if you'd like, you can move your head from side to side, or you can move your rib cage from side to side. The side to side rib cage move is really good for people who have tight upper backs, which is actually a lot of us. And then come all the way back, unravel yourself, put your right hand on your left knee, left hand behind you, sit tall, 40 seconds. Remember, if you want to, you can just stay here and feel the benefits of the twist. Or you can move your head, or you can move your rib cage. Come on back, unravel. And now we're going to do a hip opener. That's like windshields, but it's seated. And if it may be that you'll want to lean back on bricks, you're going to take your legs apart and then you're going to drop them to one side and then the other side. So the easiest way is to put your elbows back on bricks, or you can come up onto your hands. Onto your hands, do the same thing. Or you can come up one hand as you go. Or if you have the balance, you can just put your hands in front of you and go side to side. So whatever you're going to do 3 more of them. Whatever you've done, do 3 more. This is a great hip opener, I think. I found it on the web. It's just a variation of a windshield wiper, isn't it? Okay, finish up, you guys. And find your way onto your side. We're going to do the a SideLying triplet for shoulders. I'm gonna get down on the floor and try to do it with you. You're gonna lie on your side, your knees are bent, everything's stacked. Knees, ankles, hips stacked, shoulders stacked, and you're going to put the first one. Let me look at my list here. The first one is lateral abduction, adduction. Is just taking your arms up and back down. Start with your arm parallel, your top arm parallel to the floor, and up towards the sky and back down. And do 4 more of these. And last one. Go ahead and rest your arm on your hip, and then start a shoulder circle. This is one of my favorite things to do, especially for shoulders. You're just going to go backward and then come forward. Make sure you have room to do this. Adjust your location if you have to. And do 5 more of these. Take your time. And then reverse the circle, go the other direction. And there you go. Now the last one we're going to do is just a spine twist, chest opener. So all you're going to do is take your arm, your top arm out behind you. So this time your shoulders will not be stacked. Your hips stay stacked. Your shoulders come back here as far as you can. And I'm going to time for 40 seconds. You may want to put your hand, your back arm, hand on a brick. You could look behind you towards your top arm. Try to keep your hips and your knees stacked. That's where the twist, how you get the best twist. And slowly bring your arm and your shoulder back and switch sides. So we're going to do all of those 3 things on the other side. Lateral abduction, adduction first. Again, take your arm up. So arms parallel first, take your arm up to the sky. And then bring it back down. Make sure your hips and knees are stacked. Ankles, shoulders, and up you go. This is called sunrise, sunset. Number 3. Four. And last one. Bring your arm to your hip, just rest for a few seconds. And then we'll start shoulder circles, just bringing your arm behind you. And then all the way back to the original position, and 5 more times. Take your time. And last one. Reverse your circle. Come forward, up, behind, and back to the hip. And 5 more times. I lost track. Do one more, and then I think it's it, or I'm one over, either one.
Yeah, one more.
Okay, one more. And then you're going to, basically, everything is forward except the shoulder actually rolls backward, the arm comes back, and we're going to time, this is a timed spine stretch. You may want to look in the direction of your top arm. If that's too much, don't look in the direction of your top arm. And come on back slowly and come up to a seated position again. And we're going to use our Neuro balls. And Debbie, if you stick with us, you'll want to get a Neuro ball. In fact, I have a list of some props that you might want to have that are included in the notice we send you. Nobody reads it, but there's a whole list of props that would be helpful. Neuro
Series?
Hmm?
Are we doing the hand series?
The hand series. I just realized that unless Debbie has 2 balls, she's not going to be able to do the hand series. Well, she could do, I don't know what she can do. She could put roll up socks and make them into little balls, and then she will be able to somewhat replicate this movement. Or she has tennis balls, 2 tennis balls. So let's get started. Kathy's going to put her balls on blocks.
My arms are short.
Because her arms are short. And I am going to put mine just on the floor beside me. Let's get back. We're gonna time, we're gonna do a 30-second time. Let me find that on my watch. And just go ahead and press on the balls in the top, at the top. Position number 1. 30 seconds. The next position is right smack dab in the middle of the balls, in the middle of the hand. Middle of the ball too. Debbie, the Neuro ball splits it in half, so you only need one Neuro ball to do your hand series.
And you can use it for all kinds of stuff.
And there's other things you can use it for. 30 seconds are up. Go to the center of your palm. And press. Oh. You know who we're missing today is Parvin.
Yeah.
She told me she wasn't gonna come.
Oh.
She's at a funeral.
Oh. Well, Parvin asked me how hard to push. It's not effortless, but it's just the weight of your arms on the ball. Okay, third position at the base of the palm. Sit tall. Notice that you could do some neck exercises while you're here. You can move your neck from side to side. You could even drop your right ear, but we're going to do that later. So. Okay, the next position is on the outside edge of the hand. So both hands, obviously. You're going to find your best position, and I'm going to start the timer. The prickles on the Neuro ball actually activate wake up the nervous system. The nervous system talks to the brain. And if you're using your hands for computing or typing on your iPhone or your cell phone, this is going to help relieve that repetitive motion. 30 seconds are up inside of the hand. So it's really the webbing between the thumb and the forefinger. Okay, done. And the last one is the thumb pad. So find a place along your thumb pad that loves to be stimulated. Debbie, if you order Nervosa balls on Amazon, they'll get to you overnight. Okay. And we're done with the hand series. So the next thing we're gonna do is cervical side bend. I'm gonna take myself off this. Stop. Remove the spotlight. Okay, cervical side bends. So you're just going to drop your right ear to your right shoulder. We're going to do 30-second holds. No, we're going to do 40-second holds, so I can do half. Divide it in half. Drop your right ear, right shoulder. Hold, sit tall, everybody. Sit as tall as you can. And now, drop your chin towards your knee. And go bring your chin up and then your head up and go to the left side. And 40 seconds. I do want to say, thinking more about what Kathleen said about the compression, this is the dilemma for anyone who has osteoporosis and is trying to protect themselves. You will have to load, the bones to get them to grow and be strong. And you have to not load them too much, otherwise you will suffer. Go ahead and drop your chin. It's like a big balancing act.
Yeah.
If you just sit in your recliner, your bones are also going to suffer. Chin up, head up. We're going to add resistance. Kathy did this in her last class too. I really like these two as a pair. This is a totally different neck stretch. You're going to drop your right ear to your right shoulder. You're going to put your right hand on your left ear and press up into the hand. And it's going to be 40 seconds again. Press up. Feel a totally different stretch, I hope, in your neck. And you don't want to twist your neck so go ahead and lift your hand, drop your chin again, and put your hand back there. You don't want to be moving while you're loading. Okay, hand off, chin up, neck up. Other side. This is cervical side bend with resistance. Go ahead and drop your left ear, put your right hand on your right ear and press up into it.
Left hand on your right ear.
Left hand on right ear.
It's confusing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And it was even more confusing when I say the wrong thing, right? Press up, up, up. Lift your hand, drop your chin, put your hand back and keep resisting. Pressing up into that hand now again with your chin dropped. Lift your hand, lift your chin, and lift your head. Let's do shrugs, shoulder shrugs. Just shrug, lift both shoulders up towards your ears as high as you can, and then suddenly drop them. We're going to do it 6 times. Up and release, and up and release. Up, release. I've lost track. How many more do we have, Kathy? 2?
One more.
One more?
2 more. I lost track too.
Oh, well, let's do two more then, actually. Two more. I learned in my Pilates training, I said, what do you do if you lose track of time? And they said, what my friend said, two more times, just tell them two more times. Okay, I'm going to show you, I've done this before with you guys, but just, these are alternating shoulder shrugs and a little bit more. So you're going to shrug your right shoulder. And once you have it up there, you're going to hold it up there and move your head back and forth over your shrug shoulder 6 times. And then go ahead and stop, drop your shoulder, shrug your left shoulder up, keep it up there, and roll your head forward and back over that shrug shoulder 6 times. This is one of my favorite shoulder releases. And go ahead and drop your shoulder and lift your head. Let's see what we're going to do next. We're going to do shoulder clock at the wall. So go ahead and stand at the wall. Right foot forward, left foot back. Kathy has to make an adjustment here. I'm not going to go up to the wall. Because I can't talk from there and have you hear me well. So right foot forward, and then the right arm is forward, and then you're just going to take that arm and walk it along the wall. Kathy has a door, so she's probably not pushing on it, but walk it along the wall, up, 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 all the way behind you. Okay. And now just when you come as far as you can go, then bring it back. Or, yeah, bring it back. Bring it back. Kathy was about to bring it under, but now do this on the other side. This is a shoulder clock. You're just using the wall to help you open your shoulder. Up, 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 and over behind you. As far as you can go. It will vary from person to person. And then when you get as far as you can go, you start crawling back the other direction. Shoulder clock. And while we're here, we're going to do the back extension at the wall. You're just going to take your arms up and over your head. If you can, put them on maybe your fingertips, or maybe your hands will actually reach the wall behind you. We're going to stay here for 40 seconds. The idea is to open your chest and extend your back. Try to keep your hips, knees, and ankles lined up underneath each other. It's the upper back and the chest that's going to open up on this one. I have a bar on my Pilates machine that I use instead of the wall. It's really great. If you can find a bar that's about as high as your shoulders or your head and put your hands on it, you'll get an even more, I think, an even better chest opener. But that requires a little bit of gym equipment, really, basically. Okay, let's go on to our hands and feet for quadruped wrist stretch. You're on your hands and feet. And you're going to do one wrist at a time. So take the right wrist and take it backward behind you. Yes, like that. And Kathy's moved around so you can see what she's doing. And from while you're here, we're going to be here for 30 seconds. While you're here, you can move forward and backward and get a little more or a little less wrist stretch. Pull your belly in and tighten your entire core while you're here. And then switch sides. So this time the right hand is forward and the left hand is backward, pointing backward. And remember that you can move forward and backward and get more or less wrist stretch. And the last thing we're going to do is elbow propping. So drop down onto your elbows and with your legs extended. It's elbow propping and a little plus a little more. You're going to take your knees wide. You're propping up. So lift your chest. And then take your knees wide and then bring your heels together. Aha. Good. 40 seconds. This is a great way to breathe. This is a position that allows you more breath in your lungs and your diaphragm. And it's a back bend, if you may have noticed. And it's a hip opener. So this might be called an all body movement. Lift your chest up. And you should be looking at about a foot or foot and a half ahead of you on the floor. Okay. Let's find your way onto your backs for Yoga Nidra, closing the class. I'm going to stop the video so I don't have to see myself talking. Hold on. Make sure you're warm. You may want to put a washcloth over your eyes. You're going to pay attention to the points. There are 61 points of your body that I'm going to mention, and I would like you to start to pay attention to that point when I mention it, but without moving any part of your body. Let's begin with your breath, breathing in and out, observing your abdomen as it rises and falls with the gentle flow of your breath. And now bringing your attention and awareness to the center of your eyebrows, center of your throat, right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, left shoulder, elbow, wrist, left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, left wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, spiritual heart center, right side of your chest, heart center, left side of your chest, heart center, navel center, center of your pelvis, right hip, knee, ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, right ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, left hip, knee, ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, left ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, navel center, heart center, center of your throat, center of your eyebrows. This completes the 61-point guided yoga nidra meditation. Go ahead and extend your legs if your knees are bent and start to stretch and wiggle. Bring your arms overhead. Stretch the right side of your body, the left side of your body, both sides, trying to create some space, additional space between your pelvis and your rib cage. Wiggle and stretch and wiggle and stretch, and go ahead and wiggle, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then rotate your wrists and your ankles in one direction and then the other. And go ahead and hug your right knee to your chest. Thank you, knee. And then extend your leg along the mat. Hug your left knee to your chest. Thank you, knee. And extend your left leg along the mat. Hug both knees and rock from side to side. Rock from side to side. And then whenever you're ready, roll to the right or toward the camera. And let's stay here for our gratitude minute. This is a time to thank yourself for your class, for bringing yourself to the class today. Thank your body for coming along for the ride, your cells, your fellow classmates. And go ahead and bring yourself up to a floor seated position. And I'm going to remove the spotlight and make sure I'm on gallery view. And start my video. Okay. Find a floor seated position that you like. Your hands to your heart. Press your hands together. See if you can find some of the work you did in the shoulders. Sit tall. And then soften your prayer pose and lift your occipital ridge up away from your shoulders so that you can roll the skull over the cervical spine and nod and bow. And notice that that each of us is a light and that we're all one light. And we'll close the class by saying to each other, Namaste. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vika.
I'm going to stop the recording and then we can